Welcome, Rec Room players! Today, we're going to talk about the toggle button. This button makes it easy to swap back and forth between an on state and an off state. What you use this for is up to you. For example, you can open and close a door or turn on and off lights. This button can be activated by pressing it with your hand, by throwing something at it, or by shooting it. To spawn a toggle button, you'll need your maker pen. Look at your watch to open up your watch menu, then press the backpack button to find your maker pen. Press the use button underneath the maker pen to spawn your maker pen in front of you. To find a button in the maker pen palette, look at the top of your maker pen and press the open palette button. Now go to the props menu, and under dynamic props, use the arrows to go to the third page and find the toggle button. Now you can use the create tool to spawn one in front of you. To demonstrate how this works, I'm going to use some sign props and a point light gadget. You can find the sign in the maker pen palette under dynamic props. And you can find the point light under other gadgets. To make the toggle button work, you need to connect at least one of the output pins to some circuits or gadgets. To do that, use the wire tool on your maker pen. Remember that you can see a tooltip for what signal pins do by hovering the wire tool over them. The green output pin says current toggle value. I'm going to connect the green output pin to one of the input pins on this sign. I set up the sign to show the numbers that it's currently receiving. Now, when I press this button to toggle it on, it sends the number 1 to the sign. When I toggle it off, it sends a 0. Now I'm going to use the wire tool to connect the same green output pin to the on-off pin of this point light. Now that that's done, that 1 or that 0 means that the point light turns on or turns off. The toggle button now works as an easy light switch. The red and blue pins of the toggle button send short signals. The red pin sends the short signal when the button is toggled on. The blue pin sends a short signal when the button becomes toggled off. If we wire the red and blue pins to some circuits and gadgets, we can cause events to happen when the button is toggled. I'm going to wire the red and blue pins up to some sound effects chips, which I found under the Other Chips menu of the palette. And now, when I press the button, I'll hear these sound effects. The toggle button also has a red input pin for locking and unlocking the button. If this pin is receiving a signal, then the button becomes stuck in its current position. For example, I can use a player trigger volume to lock the toggle button. Trigger volumes are in the Other Gadgets menu in the maker pen palette. Now when I stand in this area, the volume sends a signal to the button telling it to stay locked, and I can't press the button on or off. Now let's look at the options for the toggle button. To look at the options, use the Configure tool in your maker pen. First of all, the Toggled by Default option means the button will start pressed down when your room loads, and it'll be sending the on signal. This is also true when you use the Clone tool in your maker pen to clone the button, or when you spawn it as part of an invention. The Send Player as Signal Output option changes the numbers on the output pins of the button. If you select this option, the green pin sends the unique player ID of the player who turned the button on. Also, the red and blue output pins will now send a short signal of the player ID of the player toggling the button at that time. Enable Projectile Collision is how you make the toggle button shootable. This defaults to off. So, if you want to make players be able to toggle this button by shooting at it, make sure you check this box. That's how you use the toggle button. If this video was helpful, be sure to give us a like, and subscribe to Rec Room's channel for more tutorials and lots of fun videos.